So, I know the trailer was released over a month ago, but I had a lot of stuff going on and I wanted to make this video of the highest quality I could possibly muster. Anyway, let's not kill any more time. Here is my frame-by-frame analysis of the second trailer for Transformers 1. Let's roll that intro. We start off with a huge Easter egg for aligned continuity and IDW fans. When Megatron unsheaths his cannon, there is a burst of purple energy. This purple energy is of course Dark Energon. That is not the only thing we get to see in this shot, however. His cannon has been updated from its iconic single giant barrel to a triple barrel, which only makes it seem larger in this frame. What immediately caught my attention, however, was just how insanely good this design for Megatron is. It really screams Combiner Wars Megatron. In the next scene, we see something bright blowing up. This could be a giant turret that is blown up. This also spreads Dark Energon everywhere after blowing up. In this scene, we also see several Cybertronians fleeing that same object. Many of them have very recognizable color schemes and designs. This one looks a lot like Dragstrip. This one here could possibly be Thrust, one of the three Coneheads. This one looks a lot like Wheeljack, especially the shins. It's really hard to place the others due to the excessive camera shake, but I'm sure we'll get a better look in either a future trailer or a 4K home release. My money is on the latter. We then see an enormous stage bursting with Energon, or at least what looks like a stage. I have to point out the scale in this image, however, because if this is supposed to be the average Cybertronian, then just imagine how giant this stage actually is. We then see a grueling battle between multiple Cybertronians. Most probably this is the War for Cybertron, which is speculated and will most probably be the third act of this film. Here we also get to see the updated design of the Cybertronian Tetrajets, which are the alt modes for the Seekers. Here is Thrust once again, but in his alt mode, and I am very sure that this Tetrajet in the foreground is Skywarp. We also get to hear one of the most clear clips of Chris Hemsworth's take on Optimus Prime. And considering that he was taught by the legend himself, Peter Cullen, I must say, it's really growing on me. I almost can't hear his Australian accent whatsoever. Now this has to be one of my favorite clips from the trailer. Seeing these modernized designs for the G1 variants of Prime and Megatron makes me so happy simply because these designs are just gorgeous. What brings me back down to earth, however, is the line about Prime and Megatron's brotherhood, which definitely is a chilling line, but it's neutered and even ruined by its use in the Bay films. Seriously, those films have scarred me for life. We also see Optimus activate his battle mask for the first time, and I must say, it looks amazing. It brings me back to this scene from Transformers Prime's first episode.
Highly unlikely, Optimus, as I am infused with their very might. One shall stand, one shall fall.
Now in this scene, where Megatron lunges at Optimus, there is what appears to be a throne lying in pieces on the ground. My theory is that this could be the movie's version of Darkmount. Also in this scene, before Optimus starts shooting fire from his smokestacks, he pumps his fists, and the only thing my mind goes to is this action that Henry Cavill did in both Mission Impossible and Deadpool and Wolverine. In the next scene, we see Orion and D16 carrying these giant drills. We can see the Decepticon insignia on D16's shoulder, which is an interesting detail to say the least. Now, here is where I must correct one of my statements from the previous video. I had said that this drill was Bumblebee drilling through some rock to mine Energon. But this is clearly just Orion using that drill from the previous scene. In the next scene, Megatron appears to crash his minecart filled with raw Energon into a bigger bot. As of now, this bot is still unnamed, but the bot next to him is called Darkwing by Orion in the very next scene. What's interesting about this part of the trailer is that Orion addressing Darkwing and Darkwing being condescending toward D16 aren't the same scene, which means that they would probably cross paths more than once. The next important scene is where we see the gang accidentally activate a locator beacon which points to a specific part of Cybertron. We also get to know that these coordinates were marked by quintessons. We then see Starscream transform for the first time, and I just want to take this moment to clear up any confusion I may have caused in my previous video. Now in this movie, Starscream will not be voiced by Tom Kenny. He will not be voiced by Steve Blum. He will instead be voiced by Steve Buscemi, which means that 100% of the cast for this film is brand new and not any seasoned voice actors from previous Transformers projects. Orion once again mentions the surface, which I'm still unclear about what that's supposed to be. Maybe the worker bots like Orion, B-127, D16 and Elita all live underground since they work underground and the surface is just where Iacon could be. Now we also get some more clarity on what Alpha Trion's role will be in this movie. Unlike previous iterations where he was a mentor to Optimus, here we find out that he was in stasis in some random cave. But aside from that, why they get their T-Cogs is still a mystery. In the previous trailer, we already got a taste of the gang trying to transform for the first time. But here we get a little bit more from Elita and D16. We also hear an alternate take for Orion saying, "My head." In this scene, we see Shockwave, Soundwave, Thundercracker, Skywarp and other Seekers in what appears to be a desolate wasteland, which I think could be the Sea of Rust. But that's just a theory. A film theory. Here I will correct my second statement in the previous video. I called this 8-legged individual Arachnid, but this is clearly not Arachnid. Here is what happens to a Cybertronian when they are infected by dark energon and do not have a sufficient amount of regular energon in their bodies. This has an uncanny resemblance to these designs for energon vampires from Transformers Prime. What elevates this design is the literal hundreds of eyes that appear under the hood. In this scene, we see some good old G1 Megs and Starscream, but at this point he is still probably D16. Now here's where I think D16 officially takes the name of Megatron, when his spark chamber and also his T-Cog are infused with dark energon. I also love this line read from Brian because it sounds less like him and more like a young Frank Welker, and that just brings a smile to my face. I would just like to take another moment to point out how we are progressively seeing less and less red in Optimus Prime's upper body, and that is something that worries me. Here we see Optimus powering up with the Matrix for the first time, and I gotta say, it looks pretty awesome. They even added the extra detail of the Matrix physically changing him, which is always appreciated, even though it's usually a little bit more implicit. We get to hear Megatron say the word Decepticons for the first time in this trailer. This sent chills down my spine, and throughout the final part of the trailer we hear an excellent remaster of the original G1 theme. This only makes this scene better and better every single time I watch it. Brian Taylor has graced us with even more peak Transformers music. Also in this scene with Elita fighting the Arachnobot, I have a feeling that while this is not Arachnid or Black Arachnia, it'll be some other equivalent or even a brand new character that can be seen as a rival to Elita. Here we see Optimus holding the hilt of a broken sword. My theory is that some Decepticon broke this sword, which is what caused it to spark. He then used the opportunity to strike an enemy with it to have them blow up. Now you might be thinking, how can a sword just spark? The truth is, I don't think this is just any ordinary sword. This is the Star Saber, or at least was the Star Saber. We had already seen this shot of Optimus dropping down in the previous trailer, but now we get an extended take with him also standing up from the same place, giving us a clean and clear look at what might just be one of the best G1 inspired designs for Prime in years. Seriously, ILM cooked with the animation, that is for sure. We then end on the title card with that G1 score reaching its crescendo, and it just gets me pumped every single time I watch the trailer. We once again get an ending gag with Bumblebee, and like I had predicted in my previous video, Starscream does have his own throne, so at this point he leads Shockwave and Soundwave and probably others before they all fall under Megatron's rule. I also want to take the opportunity to point out that this is the first thing I've gotten right about the movie. Well, there you go. That is my first crack at a frame-by-frame breakdown of the second trailer for Transformers 1. It's crazy that this movie is less than 2 weeks away, though I will do a dedicated breakdown for the movie like I did for ROTB once it is available on digital, and hopefully this time Paramount does not strike me even though it was fair use. Now I want to take a minute to address something else. The Minecraft movie trailer was released as I was recording for this video, which is quite a while after I finished writing for this video because of course it's been a month since the trailer came out. But the thing is, I don't think I'll be talking about the Minecraft movie because it's bad. I don't have anything else to add to that. It's very simply not what we would have expected or wanted from, a Minecraft movie. And it's live action, which makes it worse. And it hurts for me to say this, but this might actually be the first time where Transformers does something better than Minecraft. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching.